Yeah, I'm gonna be very honest. I'm working a very tight schedule. So I'm just gonna try and list off some stuff, and hopefully that makes sense for this very short video. So first things first, um, big thing today. I talked about that yesterday, but today Duke Quantum. So for Duke Quantum, we had this assignment, which is kind of like Duke Quantum's interesting, right? It's like they're no, they're an org, a student org slash LLC that basically gets students and puts them into quantum research in different fields. So machine learning is the one I'm interested in. So they had an assignment where you group up and you kind of you create personas of different customers who are looking to work in quantum computing in a specific industry. So in our case, machine learning. And then you kind of do interviews of those people to get a better idea. I don't necessarily get the idea. I think the idea was mostly to phase out people. So like, let's say this is like, since you have to record yourself, you have to group up with people and do social stuff. It is a good I guess a good barrier to people who are really interested and people who are like on the fence, you know. So I think one thing I've noticed is I think they have a lot of resources, or they have resources that are very valuable, but it's limited. So they try and make sure they have a good quality batch of people instead of people who are neither here nor there, and it's like you're wasting resources on those people. So kind of like it's like Blue Lock in the sense. It's I don't know. Sometimes it comes off as casual, and sometimes it comes off as very serious. But that was the assignment. So I met with my group. We got the assignment done. Really cool people, really interesting. We started talking about different stuff in quantum and like how we can apply machine learning and quantum and combine them together. And I think something that was like really interesting was the idea of multi-agent simulations. And just for some context, we don't have that much knowledge on quantum neither nor machine learning as it. Like we have from the videos I've made, yeah, you know, my understanding of machine learning and all that, but we're not experts in these fields. So like we're learning, and as we learn, we get new ideas, and as we see where ideas work and where ideas don't work, we build our skills and our knowledge base. So one idea what we had was multi-agent simulations and trying to use quantum to maybe like speed up those simulations or run them at a bigger quantity. So I know something that's promising is quantum in medicine, because of like the simulations you can run with different I don't know if it's atoms or different chemicals, right? So what if you could do that for like people? So like in my persona was an insurance person who would use quantum and machine learning for catastrophe events to create simulations. So I think that would be really interesting for multi-agent simulations. Maybe you could do it for natural language processing to start, because that's maybe easier to model, and maybe you could use social media to say like, okay, if I do this post, what are the responses you could get? And obviously that seems very vain and like, oh, what's the like maybe I guess if you're a marketing company, that could be cool. But you can like spread that out to say, like, okay, how do people react and how could you better predict reactions to stuff? So it could be really cool. It could help prepare for catastrophe events. It could help improve maybe government stuff, I guess. Have no idea. That seems both cool and dangerous at the same time, but that's just one idea. As we learn more, we'll see if that works or doesn't work. But that's where we are right now. I went above the time limit I have for this video. So besides that, I have nothing else to say. I tried to do a wink. That didn't work. I have nothing else to say. But besides that, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.